In the ancient world, people rarely bathed. They smeared animal fat and ash on their skin to remove dirt. It didn't work well. People stank constantly. Their skin was covered in grime, infection, and disease. Body odor was so normal that clean people seemed suspicious. Ancient Romans built elaborate bathhouses, but they didn't use soap. They scraped oil and dirt off their skin with metal tools called strigils. The first soap was discovered by accident. It came from rotting animal fat mixed with wood ash. Nobody intended to invent it. But there was something about early soap that made people avoid it for centuries. Something that connected it to death and decay. Let's go back to what uncleanliness really meant. Because for most of human history, being dirty wasn't just uncomfortable, it was deadly. Unwashed skin harbored bacteria, parasites, and fungi. Open wounds became infected without proper cleaning. Simple cuts killed people through blood poisoning. Lice, fleas, and mites lived on dirty human skin. They spread typhus, plague, and other diseases that wiped out entire cities. Your skin was a breeding ground for killers. In medieval Europe, people died from infections that modern soap would prevent. Childbirth killed mothers when dirty hands delivered babies. Surgery was impossible because dirty tools and unwashed hands guaranteed infection. The smell was unimaginable. Without soap, human body odor accumulated for months or years. People could smell a dirty person from across a room. Rich and poor alike stank constantly. There was no escape from the stench of unwashed humanity. It was the normal smell of human civilization. In 2800 BC, ancient Babylon accidentally created the first soap. Animal sacrifices were burned on altars made of wood ash. Rain mixed the animal fat dripping from sacrifices with the wood ash below. The chemical reaction created a crude soap that could clean things. But the Babylonians thought this substance was cursed. It came from rotting sacrifice meat and ashes of the dead. They believed soap carried evil spirits. The substance foamed and bubbled when mixed with water. Ancient people thought the bubbles were demons trapped inside. Using soap meant releasing evil spirits onto your skin. Priests declared soap unholy because it came from death and decay. Religious authorities banned its use. Anyone caught making or using soap was punished by gods. For over 1,000 years, soap was considered a dangerous, evil substance that could curse anyone who touched it. In 600 BC, the Phoenicians discovered soap could be made without dead animals. They created the first intentional soap using olive oil and plant ash. But even this clean soap was viewed with suspicion. The chemical process was mysterious. Oil and ash becoming something completely different seemed like magic or witchcraft. Phoenician soap makers were often accused of sorcery. People believed they were using dark magic to transform natural materials into supernatural substances. The soap trade was dangerous. Soap makers had to work in secret to avoid religious persecution. Many were executed for practicing unnatural arts. Even when people saw that soap cleaned effectively, they feared the spiritual consequences. Clean skin might anger the gods who intended humans to be dirty. In 100 AD, ancient Romans finally embraced soap, but only for washing clothes and cleaning floors. They refused to use it on human skin. Romans believed human skin should be cleaned with oil and scraping tools, not soap. Roman bathhouses used elaborate systems of hot and cold pools, but no soap. This method was partially effective for surface dirt, but it didn't kill bacteria. Romans were cleaner than most ancient people, but they still carried diseases from inadequate cleaning. In 400 AD, when Rome fell, soap knowledge disappeared from Europe. Medieval people returned to rarely bathing at all. The Catholic Church taught that cleanliness was vanity and pride. Monks took vows never to bathe. Dirty skin was considered holy. Medieval Europeans associated bathing with Roman paganism and sin. People who bathed regularly were suspected of witchcraft. Medieval people went months without cleaning their bodies. The smell was overwhelming, but medieval noses adapted. Medieval medicine claimed that bathing opened skin pores and allowed diseases to enter. In 1000 AD, Islamic civilizations preserved soap-making knowledge, while Europe wallowed in filth. Muslim scholars understood the connection between cleanliness and health. Islamic soap makers created luxurious soaps using olive oil, laurel oil, and natural fragrances. Aleppo soap became famous throughout the Middle East. Muslim religious law required cleanliness for prayer. Washing before worship was mandatory. This created a market for quality soap that European Christianity had destroyed. Islamic cities had public bathhouses where people used soap regularly. Meanwhile, European cities stank with unwashed human bodies and had disease rates 5 times higher. The difference in cleanliness between Islamic and Christian civilizations was dramatic. Muslim travelers to Europe commented on the overwhelming stench of European cities. In 1200 AD, the Crusades brought European soldiers to the Islamic world. They encountered soap for the first time and were amazed by its cleaning power. Crusaders returned to Europe with bars of Aleppo soap. Wealthy Europeans began importing soap from the Islamic world, but it was incredibly expensive. Castile soap from Spain became the first successful European soap, but soap remained a luxury item for the wealthy. Common people still rarely bathed. In 1600, soap making spread throughout Europe, but quality varied dramatically. Poor people used harsh soaps that burned skin and caused rashes. Wealthy people imported fine soaps from established makers. French soap from Marseille became the gold standard. European cities continued to stink. Open sewers, unwashed bodies, and animal waste created disease-breeding environments. In 1789, French chemist Nicolas Leblanc revolutionized soap production. His process created high-quality soap ingredients cheaply and consistently. But the Leblanc process created toxic waste that poisoned rivers. Factory workers suffered chemical burns from soap-making chemicals. In 1865, everything changed again. German chemist Ernst Solvay invented a cleaner, safer method for making soap ingredients. The Solvay process reduced toxic waste and made soap production much safer for workers. Quality soap became affordable for middle-class families. But the biggest breakthrough came in 1878 when Procter & Gamble accidentally created floating soap. A worker left a soap mixer running too long, creating air bubbles in the mixture. The floating soap was named Ivory. It became the first mass-marketed soap brand. Advertising campaigns convinced Americans that daily soap use was necessary for health and respectability. For the first time in human history, ordinary people could afford to be truly clean. Soap transformed from luxury item to daily necessity. In 1916, German scientists invented synthetic detergents during World War I. Synthetic detergents cleaned better than traditional soap, especially in hard water. But early synthetic detergents caused severe skin irritation. The soap industry spent decades reformulating products to be gentler. Modern soap includes antibacterial agents, moisturizers, and fragrances unknown to ancient peoples. pH-balanced formulas protect skin while killing harmful bacteria. Liquid soaps, foam soaps, and specialty formulations target specific cleaning needs. Hand soap, body soap, shampoo, each scientifically formulated for its purpose. Some modern soaps contain natural ingredients like shea butter, aloe, and essential oils. Others use synthetic molecules designed to clean more effectively than any natural substance. Think about this timeline. From rotting animal fat mixed with ash to scientifically formulated cleaning compounds. Most of human history involved being constantly dirty and disease-ridden. Your great-great-grandparents might have bathed monthly with harsh soap that burned their skin. Your great-grandparents might have had the first gentle, mass-produced soap. The soap in your bathroom has chemistry that didn't exist when your grandparents were young. Antibacterial agents, moisturizing compounds, controlled pH levels. Something as basic as washing your hands was impossible for most of human history. Clean skin was a luxury reserved for the wealthy. And even today, over 2 billion people worldwide lack access to basic soap and clean water. They still suffer from preventable diseases that soap could eliminate. The clean skin you take for granted is still a privilege in much of the world. Simple hand soap could save millions of lives if universally available. From cursed sacrifice residue to life-saving hygiene tool. From evil spirits in bubbles to scientific understanding of bacterial elimination. From religious prohibition to medical necessity. From rotting flesh to gentle cleansing. 4,000 years of human progress. All so you can wash your hands and stay healthy. What started as accidental death residue became the foundation of modern hygiene.